Today I'm talking about Kazakhstan's gas price policy. So, what happened a while back is because of the open market system over there, the gas prices started skyrocketing because everybody started giving their own prices um, because demand was going really high. Now, the government had to interfere and they intervened and they placed a limit on how much gas could cost or should cost. Now, the goal was to make the fuel cheaper and easier for people to be able to afford it because winters are really long over there and it gets really cold, and people really, really rely on gas for their everyday commute, for their everyday living, basically. So, the policy was meant to help people and improve fairness. Now, this policy, of course, is an example of government intervention in the market. Instead of letting prices change naturally, the government decided the maximum price. Now, the goal was to help consumers. This decision obviously affected how the gas market worked, but also it led to a series of events that we're going to talk about today. Now, when the government set gas prices too low for people to be able to afford it, and more people wanted to buy gas. At the same time, gas stations did not want to sell as much because they were not making enough money, or at least not the amount of money they were making before. So this caused shortages and long lines and really, really bad traffic. Some stations stopped selling gas, or they limited how much people could buy. Because gas was hard to find, a black market also appeared, where people sold gas illegally for higher prices, mostly overseas. This shows that when prices are controlled, the market can stop working properly. And this policy created both winners and losers. Some consumers benefited because gas was much, much cheaper. However, gas sellers lost a lot of money. Although there were reports that they were making a lot of that lost money in the black market sales, but many people could not buy gas because it ran out. Because, as we mentioned before, they were only sellers were limiting the amount of gas they were selling on a daily basis. Now, the policy also changed behavior. People bought more gas than they needed because it was cheap. Gas sellers reduced supply to avoid losing money. This shows the trade off between fairness and efficiency. Well, the policy tried to be fair, but it made the market less efficient. And later in 2022, the government removed the gas price cap. And when this happened, gas prices rose very quickly. The government had to remove it because of consistent and really high pressure from the market. Now, many people were upset because fuel suddenly became much more expensive. This led to large protests across the country, and the protests show an unintended effect of the policy and its removal. While the government wanted to help people, the sudden change caused anger and instability. To conclude, the Kazakhstan gas price case shows how government policies can create trade offs between fairness and efficiency. The price cap was meant to keep gas affordable and help consumers, which made the policy more equitable at first. However, by keeping prices below market levels, it reduced incentives for suppliers to sell gas, leading to shortages, long lines, and black market sales. When the government removed the price cap, prices moved back towards the market level and even higher, which helped fix shortages and improved efficiency. But at the same time, higher prices placed a burden on many people, which triggered widespread protests. This shows that while markets are good at adjusting supply and demand, sudden changes can have serious social consequences. Overall, this example shows that markets work best when prices are allowed to send signals, but efficiency alone does not guarantee fairness. Policymakers need to think carefully, very carefully, about how interventions affect both market outcomes and people's lives. And that concludes today's topic. Thank you very much for listening.